Man, oh man, I know you guys have been missing me. Thank you for tuning back in as we complete our 1 year anniversary. And this is the Fan Appreciation Show. Obviously, I'm your guy, the one and only Coach Tony, and welcome to the Pull Up Podcast Show. We got a heck of a show tonight. We're going to bring on a lot of our guests and our fans on with me tonight and hang out with me. I apologize on that. Hang out with me for the show tonight, talking quarter by quarter with sports, and it's going to be one to remember. But before we bring everybody out, Val, you know what to do. Drop it.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, I said bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show. We give you quarter by quarter of sports info. Hey, Bella, baby, how you doing? Man, thank you for showing up tonight, by the way, Bella. I thank you. Coming up out of that, it's always my interludes talk on Tuesday, people. So thank you for showing up out here. I appreciate you. For those that are watching us live throughout the country tonight, you're tuned in to one of the hottest sports shows that's hit the airways as we complete our first season on the Pull Up Podcast Show. Tonight, we are going to have some fun talking to our fans, those that partake and had an opportunity to follow the show throughout the year. And I'm just loving it. But before we bring everybody out, let's do a few things here. One, let's make sure we like us. Let's make sure you share with your family and your friends. And more importantly, make sure you subscribe to the show. And that's what we're going to do. All right, as we get started tonight on our Fan Appreciation Night, let's bring them out. Val, I feel like, back in the day with the Bulls when they used to bring Jordan them out, I should have had a little music playing to bring everybody out. But coming from, by the way, Southern Illinois, the one and only, my cuz, who's a sports enthusiast, let's bring to the show the one and only Mr. Wesley Wilson. What's up, cuz?
What's
Man, I appreciate you, man, for joining the show tonight. Man, I'm good. I'm glad you're on here tonight. We got some of these young heads, man. We got the balance between the old and the new school. I can't wait to hear this conversation tonight. I'm excited. We also got
because I've been kind of listening to them, and they just need to come up to the standards right now.
Exactly. We gonna get him there. All right, and coming out of two people, my guys, coming out of by way of North Kakalaka is my guy who phones who's in on my podcast throughout the year. This guy's a big supporter, takes care of me on Roku TV, Pod TV as well. I appreciate it. It's the one and only Mr. Mark Lee. Welcome aboard. I think you got your mute on tonight. Take that mute off, Mark. Yes, I think we still got you on that mute button somehow.
Going on wrong. There we go. Can you hear me now?
There you go. I knew you. Hey, you're the man. You got to do all this stuff. I knew you're gonna get that figured out.
You know I got to get it fixed up. Doing this on a regular basis and everything along those lines. So we're gonna figure out what's going on and everything. But it's a pleasure to be here. I know you got things going on. You've always talking sports, and of course, I am down here in North Carolina where we got that big Duke and UNC rivalry and everything. And I was actually hanging out with some of my folks from Marquette and everything because we got a Marquette Alumni Association. So we went to go watch the Durham Bulls, a little bit about baseball. We went and hang out with the Bulls on Saturday and everything. So believe it or not, even though Milwaukee and Marquette is all the way up there in Milwaukee, we still got a few folks that know how to hang and root for a good team from the Big East.
Exactly. You already know that. I had your boy on the show a couple of weeks ago, Chucky Brown, down there in North Kakalaka. So, that was a good show. But I got one more of your comrades down here, my boy. We go way back like a Cadillac, my homeboy. And he's one of the only cats I really hang out with, Phi Beta Sigma guy coming out the woods down there, Raleigh, North Carolina. We've been tied to the hip for a minute. Is my boy, Mr. James Ward. Get off that mute. I got you on mute too, Jay. I don't know what. Hey, it must be something down in the woods.
Yeah, it must be something going on a little bit. Hey, thanks, Coach Steve, for having me on the show. Big fan, big fan. We go way back since our golfing days in the Carolinas and Florida, wherever we had them, wherever we were at, we always teed up. So it's good. It's good to support your show. Coming here from North Carolina, I got to give a shout out to my alma mater, North Carolina A&T State University, largest HBCU in the country. So we're gonna see if we can get our sports program turned around a little bit. And also my shout out to my Tar Heels. So I represent both brands down here in North Carolina. But,
yeah, I like that HBCU brand on that Carolina A&T, baby. You already know it. You already know it.
That's how you get the education from both universities.
Exactly.
Looking forward to supporting the show, Tone, and talk about some great basketball, some great Olympic things. So I'll turn the mic back over to you.
My man, coming back here in my back door, my guy who hangs out with me throughout the year, making sure that I got checks and balances with my young guys, with the youth, with the AAU program. He's kind of like my eyes, ears. He makes sure my guys got the ball handling together and everything else. He's close. He's tied to me like a nephew to me. Bring on my guys, one and only, Coach Justin Allen. Welcome to the show, baby.
What's going on, man? Hey, appreciate you having me on board, man. One of my top shows up on a Monday.
Hey, man, I appreciate you being here, taking time. For those that don't know, Wesley and Mark and James, y'all need to get y'all financials together with some stocks, man. That's a young brother to talk to right there. He'll put you on the map, man.
Hey, look, you didn't let me know that I was going to be going against a whole bunch of North Carolina and Chi-Town people on this 92 Dream Team debate. I already know this is going to be biased right here.
You got to hold your own way up, man. It's like swimming in the ocean, man. You can't swim with the waves. You got to swim sideways, man. You got to swim sideways, man. Hey, coming in from, I'm going to bring one in here that may be able to help you out a little bit. My boy, I hope he's logged on. My guy, coming all the way down from the Loop by the way of the D, is my main man, Mr. Johnny Pratt. Welcome to the show, baby.
Johnny's not here.
Okay.
We'll come back later.
Cool. And then my last guest, and I don't know if she made tonight. We had one of the females on tonight, and she's a college coach, and I wanted her on the show because she definitely would have been on your side, Coach Justin, young coach in the game, holds her own, and Miss Janelle Parker from Illinois Wesleyan University. I don't know about if she make it to the show or not.
No.
Hey, well, we're going to get it kicked off here. So here's how everything's going to go. For those that are listening to us out here tonight, we're going to have a very good debate. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to put up a topic for each of us to communicate. We're going to talk a little bit about everything from the Olympics to basketball. I'll then pick up a person, one of you guys. You'll have exactly a minute and a half to tell me your story about what we're talking about. At that point, I'll say time's up. And we'll go from there. Then the next person will come on. You guys ready?
Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it. We're going to start off the top. We're going to take it to Cuz down in Southern Illinois. Right now, here's the topic for everybody, so please listen. This year in the Olympics, we had two parts. We had one with the men's track and field. We had one with the women's track and field. When it came to the women's track and field, what was more impressive to you? Was it the 100 by Marcia Russell, who won the gold medal, running a time of 12:33? Was it the 100 meters in Julian Alfred, who knocked off our girl Sha'Carri Richardson after she already got put out in the last Olympics for smoking weed? Or was it the 200-meter winner and my girl Gabby Thomas, who just crushed everybody with a 21.835 score? Or was it one of my favorites in Sydney McLaughlin-Leverin, who not only broke her own record in the 400 hurdles at 50 and 3.7 seconds, but she also came back and picked up another medal on a 4x4 100 relay team. Wesley, tell me, out of those women on the track and field, who impressed you the more and why? You on the clock.
Okay, I'm going with McLaughlin and Thomas. The thing I like about Thomas, she takes this job seriously. See, what we have to sometimes do is not be so flashy while we're trying to approach this her situation that we're trying to accomplish. Okay, Thomas kept her head cool. She wasn't limelighting. She came to perform. The thing about life is this here. You don't have to say it, just go do it. And so Thomas and my girl that set the records, they were quiet. All they did was came out and performed. Okay, I understand this is some of our styles, but one thing you do have to do, if you're going to advertise, please show up and do what your advertisements say. We've been having, I mean, it's just like, yeah, she got left last year because she smoked some marijuana. Baby girl, all you had to do was come out there and run hard. I just felt that she didn't give her all. That's my opinion on it. So,
all right, there we go.
I'm
I love that. I love that. Let's
Say
go.
that again.
Next one up. We're going to Mark Lee down in North Kakalaka. Which one of those girls impressed you the most in this year's Olympics, Mark? You on the clock.
I got to give it to Gabby as well, because Gabby was not playing. She came to do her job. She did it effectively, and she was not playing whatsoever. So I'm going to give it to Gabby, even though they were all amazing and all along those lines. I'm still trying to figure out one thing, Coach, and maybe you can help me in everything, because while the girls were definitely smoking and doing a great job and everything, I am still trying to figure out to this day what's up with our guys and how come they can't hand the baton off to anybody, because they've now messed up 5-6 years in a row, and I cannot figure this out to save my life. It's a simple process. I ran track. I was not that great and everything, but I know it's a simple process, and you would think that they would have trained and got this act together, but they have not gotten that act together, and I'm still trying to figure that out. Maybe you can help me.
Oh, yeah, I got to ask you on that one. Mr. James Ward, what you think, baby? Which one of these guys on the girls, on the women track and field impressed you the most, and why? Jump off that mute for me.
I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the fam. What everybody else is saying, I'm definitely down with Gabby. I love the style, the grace, the femininity, and also the athleticism. You know, just total dominance in her performance. And when I can get those three attributes together, man, that's just a lovely show to watch her emotion. And she did it with her what she did on the track. You know, it wasn't a talk until after that. So I'm all Gabby.
Okay. I like that. Hey, Coach Justin, pulling up the rear, baby. Who did you like in this year's 24 Olympics, man, in terms of the women track and field?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Sydney. I mean, literally at this point, she's just competing against herself. You know, at this time, came home with 2 golds, got a record. You know, on those 400-meter hurdles, I think it was like 50.4 or 6 or something like that. I mean, she beat her own record from last year. So it's just so impressive to me, you know, that she's really competing against herself at this point. Even when you look at, you know, how she performed in that 4x200, you know, that was crazy. It was actually somewhat close before I don't know if she was in the second or the third leg, might have been the third, but that gap, it had just widened up just so drastically. You know, that even though you expected it from her, it still kind of shocked you just how much, you know, she really is, you know, a class of her own, you know. So that she's going to be my one. I wasn't too shocked about Sha'Carri Richardson. I kind of felt like a little bit of cockiness was coming up a couple times. I saw her looking back at the other side just because she knew she had that extra 1/10 or 2/10 of a second, and they ended up catching, you know, to beat her. I wasn't actually too surprised by that.
Yeah, I think in this one here, I'm gonna give it to Coach Justin. I was right with it. I think that you know, the couple things here. You was almost right on top of it. Sydney McLaughlin comes in. She's not only beat her record, she's crushed her record the last 3 times. She's crushed her record from the 2020 Olympics. Then she came back to the Pan American Games and she crushed them. And then she came back and turned in a 50.37 seconds this year in the Olympics to crush her own record again. And then what was the killer was, you exactly right, that second leg of not the 4x2, but the 4x400. So she crushed it. If it wasn't for her expanding that lead in that second row, handing that baton off, as Mark just said, the men can't get it right, but the women did. And she handed that baton off to Gabby Thomas, and it was a wrap. It was. She was so far out. She put the U.S. and they was basically on cruise control. But what I liked about it, the women kept up the speed, to crush a world record on the team side of the house. And I was just going absolutely nuts. So me, myself, I was a bit Sydney fan, and I absolutely love what the women track and field did. Unlike the men, the question to you guys is twofold. We got brother Noah Lyles, right? We know the controversy behind Noah. We know he won the 100-meter dash. We know he beat Keshawn Thompson coming out of Jamaica. We know that. We know Keshawn almost beat him if it wasn't for Noah little lean at the end of the block. But here's a question for you guys on the survey. He gets COVID. He stays around. Then instead of pulling him out, they treat him. I felt it was something because I kept seeing him wear his mask. No one else had it on. So I knew he was kind of sick. Then I saw one of the free races that he didn't do so well. So he comes in, he gets a bronze medal running his 200, which that's pretty much his race. He shortened the distance to run a 100 to try to be like Usain Bolt. So looking at that, oh no, he was the killer. He comes out of the Olympics and then he makes a statement that the NFL wide receivers cannot run. And my boy, Tyreek Hill, said he don't know what Noah Lyles is talking about, and he challenged Noah Lyles to a race in a 100. So my question on the floor is, what did you think about Noah's performance in the Olympics? And if he holds up his bargain and runs this 100 against Tyreek Hill, the fastest man in the NFL, what you think gonna happen? Let's go back to Coach Justin. You on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, I like Noah Lyles. I think what he's trying to do is definitely promote himself. Besides Michael Johnson, and there's another athlete guy he ran 100. I can't remember, but they're the only two that are really trying to debate for a shoe. So he's cocky, talks a lot. Some people may not like that, but he's branding himself. You already on this NIL, so you already know what he's trying to do, and just try to keep himself relevant because he has to wait another 4 years. So I love it. I like the back and forth. I believe it was a 50-yard dash, which I think that's going to go to Tyreek Hill, just because his acceleration coming out them blocks is something different. Now, like I said, Noah Lyles is a track runner. He's going to hold his own. But I think there's a reason why he went that 50-yard distance opposed to the 100. He may have an advantage against that. But, yeah, I like him. I do. I think he's just trying to brand himself. Any publicity is good publicity. You see he had the back and forth with, what's his name, Anthony Edwards. They were kind of going back and forth about why he had an Adidas shoe and why he didn't have one. So he's just trying to change, the narrative as far as branding for track athletes. So I respect it. He's going to have a lot of criticism coming with it, but I think that's what he wants.
Okay. James Ward, Brother Ward, what you think about that?
I'm a little old school. And what I mean by that is, when you're on a global stage, the world's watching. You can make or break yourself in that 15 seconds. Taking on the United States when you've already fought in the United States, to me, that wasn't too smart. I mean, if you want to, maybe make a little joke or something like that, you might, take it against some competition, but you don't want to do it against your fellow Americans who are all down there competing in the Olympic Village. I mean, you got the USA basketball team, and you making comments about the NBA that it's not, a world team or global. So I think when you start kind of like fighting amongst your own people, you can lose a little bit of that support. I know you're trying to brand yourself, but it's a way to go about it. And when you're on the Olympics, you're in the highest podium, the highest stage. So not like you've been there before.
Okay. Brother Mark, what you thinking about that?
Well, a couple of things. One, like James, I'm down here in the Carolinas, and we got a little bit of a track history as well, because Central, one of our HBCUs, and a number of other schools have had a rich history of track runners and everything. And I don't mind the track runners talking a little trash against the basketball and the football players, and I think that's what Noah has been doing. I'm actually over here at the cultural center that I mentioned to you a couple of times, and I found out that my boss here is actually distantly related to Noah. So like I said, that trash talking is part of the game and all in that part. So I don't mind it and all along those lines. And I actually think it is maybe a little bit different than Justin. I think it might be a close race and everything. I'll give it to Tyreek, but I think it might be closer, and Noah might just pull out the victory in the end and everything, because I think it will be a closer race than people are expecting. But I do know Tyreek got that block speed, and if it's 50, it might be like down to the wire and everything along those. So I can see a wire finish, a wire-to-wire finish, and all of that.
I didn't want to see that on the fit. I just want to see it on fit. What do you think about that, Cuz Wesley? What do you think about that?
Okay, well, I'm like James. I'm real old school. Okay, now, like I said, I come from, if you're going to open up your mouth, please do what comes out of your mouth, or don't open it. Yes, I understand about making your brand name. I got that part. But your brand name is made on your speed, what you do on the track, not what comes out your mouth. Yeah, you have to sell yourself. Sell yourself running. Okay? You say, he say his race is the 200. Yes, he had the COVID. He pulled out the 100. I say, I think it may be a bad thing for him when he do race the cheetah, because the cheetah may run right on by him. I know, I believe in Laos too, but I also believe in the cheetah. It don't have nothing to do about football, basketball. Remember this part. Cheetah ran track. He out of
Yep.
Florida. He gonna run that boy down. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. And I think, Justin, you put it on the head. I think, Mark, you alluded to it. It's 50 yards. It's kind of like a thoroughbred when you got a sprinter versus a mile distance, right? That if I got a sprinter, that sprinter gonna get out the gate. Time that bell come off in the Kentucky Derby, that sprinter's out, gonna take that lead. But as the race goes on, that miler gonna walk that sprinter down and gonna finish strong. That's how we do. Hey, we are here listening on the Pull Up Podcast show. Kevin Springer in the house. My God, tonight, I appreciate you. Justin, also your guy, Johnny Taylor in the house tonight, said, what's happening? Hey, we are sitting live, have a fan appreciation night on the Pull Up Podcast show. Val, let's go pay a couple of bills, and we'll be right back on the show. Val, take it away.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the KeySpot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
Coming out this quick timeout here, starting the second quarter by quarter information with your guy, the one and only Coach Tony. And this is the Pull Up Podcast show. Make sure that if you listen to me by closed ear, make sure you like the show, subscribe, and share with your friends. We got on air tonight on Fan Appreciation. My guy, Cuz Wesley Wilson, coming from Southern Illinois. My guy, Mr. Mark Lee from down in North Carolina, down around that Tobacco Road area. And my guy from Cashville, Tennessee, none other than Justin Allen. And I don't know where my guy James Ward from North Carolina, but he'll be right back with us. Guys, let's change the tempo real quick. Mark, we're going to kick this off with you. You guys, listen to this question. Who did you think was more of a media draw? Was it Simone Biles winning 3 gold medals at an age of 27 years old to be the oldest gymnast to do it, and she did it on a bum leg, and they shouldn't have had it out there because at one point I think I would have pulled her? Or do you think it was the Jordan Childs controversy where the Romanian chick won the medal, and then they argued about it and gave Jordan Childs a bronze medal that put 3 African Americans for the first time in gymnastic history with a bronze, gold, and a silver medal? And then, of course, I don't know if you heard the news today, they ruled in Jordan Childs' favor. Plus, he said she wasn't going to give the medal back any damn way. So, Mark, let's kick it off with you. Tell me which one of those was more enticing to you and why.
Well, in terms of the whole controversy and everything, I think it was more on Jordan Childs. I was expecting Simone Biles to do what Simone Biles does. She's a winner. She's going to be a winner every time and everything along those lines. But I know that you are a coach. I know that some of these other gentlemen are in the coaching space as well and everything. And while I might not be in that space, I've got relatives and friends that are in that space. And the last time I checked, you're supposed to let it be settled on the field, not let some judges dictate what's going on and everything along those lines. So the fact that they had to pretty much cheat her out of the bronze medal that she got, because I looked at the tapes and it looked like they had done it within that 1 minute, and 1 minute to get an appeal is a crazy time.
47 seconds to be exact.
Yeah. So they did it in the right time frame and everything along those lines. But it just seems to me that that's just crazy that y'all going to move her from fifth to third and then knock her down and everything. And I think personally that it might have had a little bit of racism as well, because a lot of people were upset, let's just be very honest about it, that they gave salute to the Brazilian sister that won that medal and everything, the gold medal, and gave her the salute, both Simone and Jordan. So I think that that was some pushback from some of the powers that be. That's just my opinion on it, whether folks agree or disagree.
And I'm gonna get a little added information for Wesley and Justin, and that is they found out that the judge that was voting on that was also a Romanian judge, and that they found out the last, not one, not two, but the last three Olympics, 2020, 2016, and 2012, there was also a controversy, and he's always voted in favor of Romania. So that was it. Wesley, take it away. What's your thoughts on this? You got your mute on, Wes?
All right, you call me Tony. Okay. First of all, like I say, we've been watching this Olympic, and it's, to me, having too much change. The Childs girl knew she had to come out there almost excellent. Like you said, we know what Simone's going to do.
Right.
They had already advertised a young lady that did win, that how she improved from the last Olympic to this Olympic, and she'd been on Simone Biles' heels, and so we knew she was going to get a medal. But for the Childs lady, you go from fifth to third, okay? So that means you added up a whole point.
Yeah.
And after they complained about it in the right time, you saw that, okay, her acts were a little harder than the other girls. But then on the other hand, y'all been watching Olympics like I have. How many times do the Americans get kicked back? They're always going to get kicked back. Yes, this was our first time seeing three blacks on the stage, which was history. But we got to remember, those folks don't really like that either as much as we do.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly right. And just in terms of, it was funny how they, like you said, they moved her up, they moved her back, gave her the medal, took the medal away, and then all of a sudden, 47 seconds, but the U.S. had enough information to be at a controversy they can offset, because the judges said he came in at 104, 4 seconds after, which to me is still crazy, because if you're sitting there with all this emotion, even if it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, I would say that they need to change their rules and say, as long as the controversy comes in within that day or maybe an hour. But again, when they don't want that situation, we keep on breaking through. Coach Justin, what's your thought process on this?
Oh man, it's a no-brainer for me. It's gonna be Simone Biles. I'd really like to know a little bit more about the backdrop on Jordan Childs. I just know there's something with a coach or something scoring too late or fixing with the score. I'm not really sure about the details, so I can't speak on it. But if you talk about three, sisters setting up on that stage for the first time, in a sport that's predominantly, white. And on top of that, I don't know if you all saw her. She got the grill up in her mouth just for the optics. USA probably don't want to do that, but she was over there flexing that grill like that. So, but even if she didn't get stripped, for me, Simone Biles, man, it's just so amazing to watch her. Her one of the ones she does best at, I believe, is the floor exercise. When you look at the elevation that she gets, man, off those floor exercises, man, it's phenomenal. It's what you would compare Serena Williams serve compared to someone else. It's just on another level to the point where it's almost as good as the male athletes. There was a young black brother, Fred Richardson or Fred Richards or something. Um, on the male side, American was a great gymnast. I think he actually placed. I don't know if it was gold or silver, but
Mhm.
you look at him when he did his floor exercise compared to Simone Biles, which you mentioned was on a gimp leg. She still had at least 4 or 5 inches of vertical coming off those flips. So when
Oh
I
yes,
look at her and you just talk about just something generational talent, something that you'll never see again, I got to give it to her, and on top of the
okay,
fact that she came back from, battling mental issues, she had suicidal
right,
thoughts.
correct.
Um, so you mentioned the physical injury that she had, and still killing the males. I mean, it's just one of the most amazing things I've ever seen from an athlete. Period. Not just forget the gender. It's just
Correct.
crazy.
There you go. And Mark, you had a comment on that?
No, I had a quick question for you and everything because actually the brother just alluded to it and everything. But when it comes to NIL, because I know you're big in the NIL and everything along those lines and everything, to me one of the greatest marketing tools was actually Freddie Flip because that's what he goes by is Freddie Flip and everything. Because we had not
Yep.
had brothers getting into the gymnast field in that kind of way and everything. So I was just going to mention that because Freddie Flip is definitely breaking some barriers that we have not seen broken in a while and everything. And just the fact that he's coming out there with that moniker of that whole nickname of Freddie Flip, I'm going like, yeah, you're going to get some deals out of that.
Right, right. And just you right, Thomas. And that's what impressed me, looking at everything, kind of like I think kind of like what Wesley mentioned a moment ago. We knew what Simone was going to do in the controversy of Jordan Childs. What I liked about the Jordan Childs situation is for the fact of the matter, you got to think about this. She's got Sonny Lee, right? She's unheard. We know Sonny's got the best on the bar. We know that Simone was going to be Simone. Everybody's going to be there. And as Justin mentioned, I'm watching the men. Man, do you know Simone was doing triples, triple flips, and then some of the men was only getting doubles. And so
Mhm.
the power that she go. And then we got the young girl that was with her and Hazley Rivera. So the only outside spoken person was right there. And I felt that I like the Jordan Child situation, and because every event that she was in, unfortunately, the best person she had to compete against was her own freaking teammate, which is with Simone Biles. And so when you sit there, you're looking at that, she's got a bite her lips, and she's saying, she's standing on her lips like, man, I wish she wasn't up in here with me, but I'm gonna try to get at least second. So she got some medals, man, and I thought that was the one big medal that they could have given her. They tried to take it away, so I'm at least glad that the Olympic Committee came back and sit down and today and made the right decision. Plus, the sister said she wasn't going to give it back. My man, Bruce Smith, Bruce says they said that the judge was on the committee with the Romanians. And my question is, and Bruce got a question for you guys. He says, how come is not any American judges on that same panel? They said that Childs, none other, was more difficult, as Justin had mentioned a moment ago, because of the routine that she did. So my question is, if we got an Olympic committee and we are the best country in the Olympics, any one of you guys answer, why is there not enough American judges on that panel?
Well, the only thing I can say is I don't know that we're doing enough in terms of leadership on the Olympics in terms of the way we used to do it. Because as you mentioned a couple of times, I'm in North Carolina, and Leroy Walker, who's actually got a building name for him over at Central, was a member of the Olympic Committee. Actually ran the Olympic Committee. I think that was back when he was in Atlanta and all along those lines. So I don't know that we're grooming enough of the leadership to actually get judges and other things, even in terms of the running of the Olympics. And we need to do something fast because flag football is going to be here next year, or in the 2028 Olympics and everything, as will baseball and a number of other sports that we can excel in. And it's going to be right in Los Angeles on the West Coast and everything. So I think that we need to figure out some way to get some leadership in the Olympic movement.
Is that something you agree with, Wesley?
Well, you know what? We should have had somebody on the American voting, okay, as one of the judges. And I'm trying to figure, okay, we deal with France. why we
Right.
couldn't find somebody from the IOC that should have been on there. And I'm just trying to figure. I understand all the countries, but we only have a few major countries. And
Right.
if you want to be like this, let's get a judge from each large country to take care of that. You had one from France that covers all of France, Italy, everybody. Have one from somewhere else. And I just think the judging would be a little bit different because, see, everybody, if you recall, Romania has always took the Olympics. There's
Correct.
always only been whites in the
Ever since
Olympics,
Nadia
especially for
Comaneci.
gymnastics. Now blacks, and that makes a big difference. That black guy jumping gym or whatever, I'm hoping that the young black men pick this up from him. Why? We are gifted to jump, run, and all this stuff without training. So just think what would happen if our young brothers and sisters would just go get a little training. Okay. The main thing I see with our young black men is the psychological factor. He don't want to be called I'm soft because I'm doing gymnastics. You got to be a hard dude to do gymnastics, bro.
Right.
That's not easy.
Exactly.
Core got to
So
be the core is impeccable on gymnastics. Like
Yeah.
ain't nothing soft about
yes,
that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yes.
And Mrs.
So
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Cousin West.
I mean, we could use our black athletes to do something like that because everybody, our race are led by this basketball thing. Everybody, all of us are gonna play ball.
Right.
So, and all of us not gonna be as great as educated. So let's use some other talents that we've been gifted to know how to jump. We've been gifted with body strength. Let's utilize it in a proper manner. And I guarantee you, the next Olympic, we should have at least 2 or 3 black men in that.
Oh yeah, Justin, what you think about in terms of the judges, in terms of should there be an American judge on the IOC? And here's more of a finite question. Not so much of the judge being from America, but in a situation where the judges have to make a decision, should that judge from that country be involved?
No, I don't feel so. I feel like bias could come involved. I don't know necessarily how they select as far as for what country comes and who they pick as the judges, but like Mark was mentioning, from a major country, as far as for the ones that actually excel in it, probably the most, I would probably pick the select few and then rotate them, out every 4 years. I don't know necessarily if they're always usually having a Romanian judge or two every 4 years, but I would certainly divide it amongst the major countries and the ones that actually have the I guess the most prestige, or they got the most experience as far as for doing well in that event. But I can't speak on it enough. I don't know necessarily how they pick the judges.
Right. Well, before we take a break at halftime here, I'm gonna say that I personally feel they should rotate the judges out just like they rotate the athletes out. The athletes are rotated every 4 years. The judges should rotate every 4 years. And if there's a decision on a situation, I think if it's between those two countries, I think both of those judges to that two countries, meaning that there should not have been an American judge involved and there should not have been a Romanian judge involved. And I don't care if that leaves 3 judges in the room, that's still an oddball number, as long as it's not a 4-judge or an even number. And if it's an even number, then that decision goes to the IOC president or someone higher up. Kind of like what they do with football when there's a penalty on the sideline. What do? They call New York. Everybody patient. They look at it in New York. They phone it back in. They tell you there's a first down, catch, no catch, whatever. Speaking of catch, Miss Michelle, Tina Michelle, thank you for checking in with me tonight, girl, on the Pull Up Podcast Show. Bruce, that was an absolutely great question. Keep throwing your questions here in the tagline, and Val will put them up for our guests tonight. If you want to ask our guests a question tonight, make sure you do that. We're going to take a halftime break real quick on the Pull Up Podcast Show with Coach Tony. We'll be right back. Val, let's pay some more bills.
I've always thought about how my mom has supported me in any creative endeavor, how beautiful was it for your mom to be the superhero in your life and show up in your creative ventures with this book?
People ask her to sign the book more than they ask me to sign the book. Sometimes I step to the side, I take their picture. And, we have to celebrate our mothers. We got to celebrate our beginning. So she comes out with me. Every event, she is there. Even when I tell her she does not need to come, she will show up in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you coming? Okay. I'm like, all right.
Right. And she got a bottle of wine in her hand.
What in the world? Why are you giving her alcohol? Don't.
No, I'm just saying. She showed up in the parking lot. She got a bottle of wine, nice wine. She's going to set it down. She ready for the show, Val. You know what I'm saying? Because the funny part about it is, CJ, I've actually talked to Val. I thought about, writing a book myself because my man's in there. But,
I love it.
and look at Val.
My man's in them.
My man's in there. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. But it's a play. CJ, I apologize because Val should have dropped some old Dub C so you could have came out crip walking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not flamed up right now. I got to hold on. Trying to get me shot.
Going back to school tomorrow, like, I saw you, Miss Charles. I saw you.
I mean, I can crip walk, so please, but I'm kind of, I'm authoring right now. You guys are funny.
Hey, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast show with the one and only Coach Tony and my guest, Cousin Wesley Williams, coming from Southern Illinois. My guy, Mark Lee from North Carolina, Coach Justin, and James will be back on here. I think he had a few technicalities. Wesley and Justin, how the North Carolina guys be doing it, man. All these technicalities and all that down there. We're going to send y'all some telecommunication wires, get y'all plugged in a little bit better down there, Mark.
You're going to have to get us some Google Wire and all those lines.
Yeah, don't do AT&T. They messing up. Don't do that.
Yeah, send us some Google Wire. Hey, I do have a quick question for you, Coach, if it's all right, and everything, because the brother there was asking about the other athletes and all along those lines. And I saw some athletes that I did not expect, because there was a couple of sisters that were doing real good in volleyball, and I didn't know that we played water polo, but there was a goalie that was really impressive. They finished in 4th place, but she was no joke. She was blocking a lot of shots, but that is not a sport that we usually think about excelling in. But apparently we're excelling in some sports that we're not expected to excel in all the time.
And let me tell you, and I don't know about you guys, I'm going to give a big thumbs up there, man, to my boy, the one and only, boy, Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav went out and supported these young ladies. Nobody jumped on their bandwagon. Flavor Flav did. And not only did he jump on their bandwagon, I don't know if you guys know or not, he gave each one of those young women $1,000 and a free trip to Brazil. So that is, man, Flavor Flav, man, much love, big ups on that, man, and I really love it. Coach Chris Robinson, what's up, baby? Coach Robinson said, what's up, Coach Justin?
Coach Robinson, man, what's going on, baby?
He checking in the house tonight. Hey, now we're going to turn this up. Cousin Wes, how we do back in the day, and Mark and Coach Justin don't know. We come out the locker room in that third quarter. We turn up the heat, man. We got to get back in this game. So let's change it right now. We're going to come down to the men and the women in the Olympic basketball. So let me ask this question, and it's going to turn up. Were you more impressed with the comeback, the way the men came back and won us a gold medal behind Steph Curry's back-to-back 30-plus games and Kevin Durant as the MVP? Or were you more impressed with the women now being 60-0 since 2012 and Asia Wilson helping the United States capture yet another gold and not a loss in almost 12 years? On the clock, started from Justin. Take it away.
It's going to be the men's for me. No disrespect towards the women. I just can't necessarily think of any international female athletes that just come to my mind. Now, That I think number 25 for France. She done got herself a deal. Well,
Will,
it's
Will,
different. Overseas,
Will,
overseas get paid a little bit more than the WNBA right now. It could change, so she may stay where she's at, but she could easily have herself a spot in the WNBA. Curly head, light skinned chick. She was getting
oh
off.
yeah,
But
Williams from France.
yeah, oh man, she was nice. But I can't necessarily think of an international player, that comes to mind on the WNBA side where the Asia Wilsons and the Breonna Stewarts and Kelsey Plums really had to really sweat it. Now on the other side, the men's, and that's where me and we was talking about, and I'm about to hit your uncle in a second on the difference in the competition. You can hit me with all the stats that you want to, but the difference in the competition is what I'm looking at. When you look at the fact that you had 7 international players back then, and you know what I'm talking about when I say back then, compared to now, you had 71 athletes, who was overseas playing in the NBA. So I'm looking at the squad for Canada, which they didn't go as far as I thought that they would, but the whole NBA squad, the whole Canada squad, they was on the NBA. Check SGA. You got Kevin Porter Jr. You got Dylan Brooks. You got what's another Canadian cat? Can't think, but they had a whole squad. And then you go to Germany. You got Schroeder. You got the Wagner brothers. Then you go to France, and I talked about them having one of the toughest front courts with Wemby and Gobert. And then, not to mention the French dude that dunked on LeBron, who just got signed a 1-year deal for the NBA.
He just got a contract with the Philadelphia 76ers, by the way.
Just signed. Yeah. So I'm looking at that talent level, and just the fact that they really had to scratch and claw every single one. You look at the finals game with the women, they only had one close game. Every single one, even in the exhibitions, the men's had to scrap and claw. So I'm gonna get an edge to them.
All right, so I'm gonna add something here, Wesley and Mark. So what I'm trying to tell Coach Justin was, back in the day, as he say, back in the day, we're gonna take this back 30. Back in the day, that late 80s, early 90s, right close to the Dream Team era. The unfortunate part about that, it had nothing to do. Welcome back, James. Had nothing to do with the 70 players, as Coach mentioned, because at that time it was a rule by the NBA. That was not to say no more, but those 7 players that was back in the day, there's these 71 players that are in Europe right now couldn't touch those 7 players, because those 7 European players are all Hall of Fame. Sabonis, Vlade Divac, Marcelonis, Slobodan Petrovic. So those guys are in the Hall of Fame. You cannot name me a Euro right now that is in the Hall of Fame. You can't name me one Euro that's in the Hall of Fame. You may tell me there's one headed there, but I'm telling you all 7 or 8 of those guys back in the day were Euros. Wesley, take it away.
Okay. I was impressed with the women doing the 60. I understood the men. Now, my problem with the men was this here. You all are NBA ball players. And you can tell me what you want to tell me, but them guys wanted to compare themselves to the guys from the previous Olympics when they wasn't playing all the overseas guys coming to the NBA and play.
Right.
But the women impressed me. Yes, they had a hard game against France, but the men ball players, y'all had shooters on the team. The way Steve coached the team, you had a lot of people upset because
Correct.
my man
Jason
Boston
Tatum.
didn't play the
Jason
first
Tatum.
game. Well,
Jason Tatum.
if you know the game, since you 2 guys coaches, if you know the game, he wasn't physically ready to play against my big man from Denver, whatever. He couldn't
Yeah,
play
the joke.
against that
The
team. They
circus.
were too
Mhm.
physical for my man from Boston. That's why he couldn't play that game. See, yes, he's a good shooter, but he's not a strong defensive player. If you bump him real hard and you're a physical ball player, you takes him mentally out of the game.
That's what
And
Coach
that's one of the
Justin said.
reasons why he was not there. So what I'm telling you is, yes, the men were impressive, but the women impressed me because their level of getting to what they want and where they got to be is much harder. One, it's the salary. Yes, them girls got to leave the U.S. to go overseas and try to get more money. But biggest the United States says, our women shouldn't have to leave this country to get paid. And if you watch it, all the European and everybody else, they're trying to come to the NBA and the WNBA. But the women really more impressed me. And the men, to me, you shouldn't have had a problem. You should have been able to cakewalk these guys, whether they're NBA ball players or not.
There you go. There you go. And just cope with it, baby. Justin, just cope with it. Said what's good with it. His comments, athletes right now, bigger, stronger, faster. Right now, more skill that's traded because they play all year round. And Coach Justin, you know that because me and you in the gym with these cats all day. James, the question on the floor right now is looking at the men and women's basketball from the Olympics. Were you more impressed with the way the United States men came back and to capture a goal with Steph Curry's back-to-back 30-plus? Or were you more impressed with the women going 60-0 since 2012 and winning another Olympic gold medal?
Wow, the stage was incredible. I think I'm gonna choose the women's side, and only because that championship game was not over. 0.3 seconds, still the game is not over, and so for them to try to maintain a 60 win, unbeatable win streak was incredible. And I think when you look at the women's game toward the entirety of the game, I was supposed to be at an event and I was going to go see John Legend. And I'm like, hey, I'll just meet y'all out there. The point I'm making is that last 15 minutes, all eyes on the camera, and to see that on the world stage was incredible. Not only that, when you had some of the players that have played stateside, just like in the men's section, the women's game to me just gave you that awe factor. And, I think with the men, I expected a little bit more dominance, to be quite honest. I expected a little bit more dominance in the men. But what I'm seeing in the men's game is that you have athletes, but the question is, do they have that MJ in them? The only person that had that MJ in them was that dog Curry. Outside of Curry, I didn't see nobody else on the team with that MJ. I'm talking about Chi-Town, shut it down, lights out. We know it's over. Okay, I ain't talking about this. We maybe win and get a ball to that center for the 76ers that may shoot a damn three when he need to go inside. I'm talking about strong. You know who the ball is going to, and I'm unstoppable. I'm winning this. Jordan's house. Only person I saw that with that ability to win and want the ball in his hands was Curry.
There you go. There you go. Mark, what's your opinion, baby, before I drop in and give you mine?
No problem. I was going to give it to the women as well and everything. And by the way, that sister you were talking about, Gabby, she actually does play for the WNBA. So that young lady from France is actually on one of those teams and everything. So she's actually playing. And it was only by a matter of inches that we didn't go into overtime with that game and everything. So that 60 mark, because it was, like I said, that was a 2-pointer. But if she just leaned back a little bit more, that would have been a 3-pointer, and you would have been heading into an overtime match. And that could have been anybody's match, because I literally was watching that game and was checking it, whether it was on the computer or on the phone, and was kind of like, on my toes trying to figure out whether they're going to pull out that victory and all along those lines. So I'm going to give it to the women. I did think that the men sometimes were kind of like, as James alluded to, kind of cakewalking, because I don't know that they took some of those opponents as seriously as they needed to, because South Sudan almost took us out in one of those early games and everything. So I don't think that they were handling that, and they were thinking that it was going to be a cakewalk. And we know that basketball is played all over the country and all over the world, so it's not going to be a cakewalk just because you bring in those NBA players and all along those lines. So I do think that they might have been thinking that they were going to just kind of like skate and just get the easy win. While they got the gold, they definitely did not skate-walk over some of those opponents and all along those lines. So that was my take. I'd give it to the women all day long. And one of the things that I think I mentioned to you on some of the chats that we've had during your shows is I actually find the women's game to be a little bit more sound in the way of playing the fundamentals. And I'm a big fan of fundamental basketball, and they've been playing fundamental basketball for a while, whereas the guys sometimes get a little bit too flashy. Not knocking the flashiness, but sometimes get a little too flashy.
Oh, yeah. Hey, D. Burns, man, David Burns, man, thanks for checking in down here. And Cedar Hill, Texas, baby. We know how hot. I know it's hot, but you cool tonight. You in the house with 5 cool cats, man, talking sports. And I'm going to give it to the women, not for the reason that you guys gave it for. But I'm going to give it to the women for a fact that me and Justin had talked to a few weeks ago, and that's because of the fans. I don't know if you guys realize this, but basketball turned out 1.1 million people watching basketball, men and women, for those 12 days. And the women outnumbered the men in terms of attendance by 3,000. The men's average attendance was around 28,900. The women averaged about 31.5, 32,000 over Mill Point One in 12 days. And yes, Gabby Williams played for Bam, my Chicago Sky. And of course, that's why I heard Ancient Reach and these guys are going to change things and bring it back. But what I really loved about that, James and Wesley, you hit it on the head. Do you know how hard it is to win 4 in a row, 2 in a row, 3 in a row? We're talking about 60 wins. We're talking about going back over a decade. We're not talking about going back to the last Olympics. We're talking about going back over a decade. They haven't lost a game in a decade. Now, I'm not saying that just in terms of the men, because I thought, man, if you take Steph Curry out the mix, we don't win at all, right? Because he dropped 37 in the semis and then 32 in the championship game. It's a wrap. We probably lose that, and we definitely lose that game against Serbia and Joker because we just didn't have it. It was that last 2-minute push, and Joel Embiid hit 2 big shots back to back, and so that was big time. So I'm gonna give it to the women on this question as well. Now we're gonna turn up the notch. This is something that me and the youngster, me and Justin, been going back and forth, and I'm waiting to hear this one. Michael Jordan. I'm down here with Mark and James in the North Kakalaka back door. Michael Jordan makes a statement a week after the Olympics. And he says, Steph Curry is not yet an Olympian. He's on his way, but he's not yet an Olympian. And the bigger piece of that is the reason why is because if you compare Steph at a guard position to the best guard that played the position, and Magic Johnson, his stats are not just there. And and so I want to see this. We're gonna go to North Carolina and deflect first from these boys. James Ward, take it away. What do you think about Michael Jordan's comment?
You're on mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute, Jay. You're on mute, Jay. Unmute.
I think Michael Jordan, I think he was a little harsh. I think Steph Curry is a Hall of Famer. Okay. Now, from MJ, sometimes MJ uses reverse psychology to motivate people, to make them want it. Okay. Mike ain't quick to give out compliments. So that's just to make you hungry. So I think you got to kind of take that within the context of Mike saying when you go out there and you just win 6 or you dominate. And I think Curry's still got, with the way the game is played now, a little bit more finesse. Curry's got 5 more years in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least 4 more years. So by the time Curry finishes, we already know he's the greatest shooter of all time. Right. But to be a Hall of Famer and really to want it, to know that you belong, I think Curry showing more ability to lead, ability to be on the world stage. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I think Jordan was kind of just, sometimes I think Jordan throws a little slight shade a little bit. But if anything, that's going to make Curry a little hungrier. Okay. Mark down there in my second Carolina comment. What do you think from Tobacco Hill? What are your thoughts?
No, I think that definitely that was some shade that he was throwing on Curry. I definitely think Curry is a great player. But as we were talking earlier, there are a number of players that are old school, because I'm definitely old school as well, and everything that I think that Michael is alluding to that could play and would do well even in this day and everything. Because I was actually talking to my barber earlier today, and we were talking about some of the old school guys that would be in lockdown and all along those lines if they were playing today and everything. So definitely Earl the Pearl, Monroe, Nate Archibald, and a number of other folks would be able to compete even in this day and time if they were playing against some of these guys that are in the NBA. And I think that's what Michael was alluding to.
Okay, Wesley, what do you think about that?
Well, okay, you got to remember, Mike played in his era, Steph in his era. What Mike, to me, is talking about, reason he don't feel he's ready for the Hall of Fame, he don't see that, what do you want to call that, killer instinct in his eye. I don't know what Michael see, but the way this man put something on people, and he got, 4 or 5 rings, okay?
Yep, 4 rings.
No, he's not a great defensive player,
right?
But I haven't seen in the last 10 years nobody can stop him from scoring but himself. He set records. He got the 3-point record. He kind of breaks his own record every year. His record speaks for itself. He may not have a killer instinct that Mike's looking for, but like you say, in this era, there isn't a guard that's much greater than him. And as soon as it's time for him to go in, it shouldn't even be not even a conversation. When he get voted, it's first team ballot. It's
he's
not even a
first team ballot.
conversation.
Right.
Name me another guard, and I know Joe Dumars, Microwave. I knew all of them. All the boys used to play at the Clipper, World Be Free. All of them. None of them shot this way. Okay, his daddy could shoot good.
Right.
His daddy couldn't shoot like this.
Right.
So, Michael, I enjoy you. I respect you, bro. You just made a bad call on this one.
Okay. Hey, Justin, you gonna love that comment. What you think about that?
Man, you know, Michael. Right before he said that comment, he was on that brown and that cigar, man. He was on that bourbon.
And on the golf course.
Hey, come on, man. He just talking out the side of his neck. I don't know how you gonna make a comment like that when an active player has already crossed 2 Hall of Famers, and Reggie Miller, and who was second? And Ray Allen, as far as in the 3-point. Not to mention that, if we just want to go over recent Hall of Famers as far as for guards, you got Tony Parker, who got inducted. I'm picking Steph Curry over Tony Parker. You got Chauncey Billups, who got inducted last year. I'm taking him over Chauncey Billups. Who else? You got Steve Nash. I'm taking him over Steve Nash. Who else you got? Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd might be questionable, but I'm probably still going to pick Steph Curry over Jason Kidd right now, and the man still got 5 years left to play in the league. So, like I said, I don't know what Jordan was on, man. He he had some of that Ricky Blanton, man, that you was talking about.
Hey,
He's
James,
on that jack, man.
James, you got a comment on that? What you want to say?
Yeah. I mean, I like Justin. Justin, you cool, but I think the young brothers, they don't understand. Jordan put in work. Jordan get ribs cracked. Jordan getting legs broke. I mean, the era Jordan played in, they played 2-way, offense and defense. They gave it their all. And you wanted to win a championship, you had to go to the mountain and get it. I think we're looking at different eras. So I'm never going to be trash talking to Jordan. Now, I'll say sometimes he might have thrown a little shade, but the reality, he played two ways. Defensive player of the year 9 times.
Correct.
Scoring champ 9 to 10 times. Jordan played the game in its fullest complexity. He played with the hardest and the bullies. He played against guys that just hacked. I mean, John Sally, Dumas played tough defense. Then he had to go against Rick Mahorn. Then he had to go against that crazy guy that's always
Lambeer.
Yeah, so, Steph Curry and these guys couldn't last a 10, 15-year season playing basketball the way they used to play. And not only that, you had John Starks with DU up at the baseline. You want as good as Steph Curry is, you're going to have to pass the ball. We're not going to let you shoot 30 times a game. We're not going to let you shoot 20. And if you can't get your own rebound, your shot percentage is going to go down. So when we think about the elevation of the game and how the media wants more points scored and less defense, you got to give it to the greatest shooter, which is Curry. But if he had to play in that era, he'd be broke down half the damn season.
Yeah, because they're going to put him on his butt. And matter of fact, Val, do me a favor, please. Brrr, with the drum roll. Put up my chart. Magic Johnson and Steph Curry so I can, this is something that Coach Justin and I was talking about, so I can give you this breakdown real quick. And I think this is what Michael Jordan was alluding to. And I'm going to break this down for you four. I want y'all to listen to this. So the reason why Michael said that, I went back and had to do some homework. These are the career stats as of tonight. Steph Curry's played in 956 games. Magic Johnson's played in 906. In those 956 games, Magic Johnson averaged 11.2 assists a game to Steph Curry's 6.4. Magic Johnson had 1.95 steals to Steph Curry's 1.4. Magic Johnson had a field goal percentage of 0.58%. Steph Curry's 0.475%. Magic Johnson 3-point percentage is only 30%, where Steph is shooting 42.6. Magic Johnson shot 85 from the free throw line, Steph 91. Magic Johnson has an efficiency rating of 0.55 and Steph's at 0.85. Here's the big difference. Magic Johnson, already a Hall of Famer. Steph Curry, question mark. We know he's going to be there. Magic Johnson, he has 5 rings. Steph Curry, he's got 4. Magic Johnson, 9-time first team All-NBA. Steph Curry, 4. Magic Johnson, 10 times All-NBA. Steph Curry, also 10 times All-NBA. Magic Johnson, 3 times MVP. Steph Curry, 2 times. Magic Johnson, 3-time final MVP. Steph Curry, 1 time. And Magic Johnson has 12 All-Star games, and Steph Curry has 10. So you look at that stat right there that Val just put up in that. I don't think that Michael is saying that Steph is not ready. I kind of think it go back to kind of what James was saying. It's just that in that era, and looking at that era that Magic played in, his stats are still standing strong in 2024 and from 1994 when Magic retired 30 years ago. So I think when I look at it like that, is Steph a Hall of Famer? Yes. Is he going in on first ballot? Yes. But could he do that? And I was telling Justin also, fellas, Magic Johnson was one of the few players in an NBA playoff game that guarded all 5 positions, scored in all 5 positions, and won an NBA playoff game on a hook shot, and none other than the Boston Garden. Case closed.
Hold on. So I'm gonna get at you real quick, attorney, with your facts and everything. So you brought out 2 God-given things. You mentioned as far as for size, being able to guard 1 through 5, that's God-given. Hey, and James, Steph couldn't help what era he was born in. He couldn't help that he was born in the 90s, man. He would have adjusted like any other player would adjust. Just how Jordan, he would have adjusted to these rules back then, probably would have averaged more. But you can't, discredit, a player for what era that they're in. They only adjust to the rules. And you know what? I'm glad that he got to get some FIBA action, because you got a little bit more hand checking and physicality, and you see how he was able to play against that. So he's able to adjust. Great players are always going to be great. It doesn't matter what era they're in.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Just to have a little open discussion, Tony. I didn't mean to cut anybody off. I'm just passionate right now. I think, Judson, you make a good point for this era. But I'm looking at basketball when I thought it was in its purest, when there was offense and defense, when it was the purest. There was no lopsided wins. There was nobody going and blowing somebody out. I mean, every game was a dogfight. I'm talking about when you had to play defense as well as you had to play offense. I'm talking about situations like where I think Curry is a great player, and without a doubt, he is the greatest shooter of all times. There's no doubt about it. I would never take that from him. But when I think about the synthesis of the eras, you have to pay homage and respect to the era that was before you. Now, we know we want players safety. We want players to be safer. Just like you got 7-footers shooting threes now. And back in the day, average time, the length of an average 7-footer in the league was 10 years. Now you got 7-footers going 17, 18 years because they're all finesse. Okay, back in the day, you took your bumps and bruises and your bad knees and your bad back after 10 years, and you tried to get your pension. Now you got 7-footers trying to get 15, 16, 17, 18 years out the league by shooting threes. Not even
they got their retirement package. They rolling with that. They roll with their retirement package. So I got you on that. Listen, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna hold on 1 second, James. We're gonna finish this on the other side. We got one last break of the night. We're gonna come back and finish this. I'm loving it. Val, take us to the fourth quarter, pay my last bill, get these bill collectors out of my pocket, please. Thank you.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the G.O.A.T mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAT. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
Hey man, it's the fourth quarter, so I hope y'all talk to y'all squad. You know, down the stretch in the fourth quarter, we got to win this game. So here's the thing: fourth quarter, keep our responses kind of tight. I got 3 more questions, so keep them tight, short. But we got 3 questions to get through here in the next 30, man. We're gonna get out of here. Here's the big question tonight, fellas, on the table. And I know me and cousin Wesley have won at this multiple times, but he's gonna love it. But I want to know, sitting up, dealing with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Now, the question on the table is, did Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark get snubbed by the women's Olympic team, or should they have made the Olympic team to go over, or do you think it was a situation where the Olympic girl women team was okay? Wesley, you on the clock.
Okay. No, I don't feel that they were snubbed. This is my reasons. Okay. No, neither one of them's Diana Taurasi, which we would be referred to Caitlin Clark. She's not Diana Taurasi. And 2, you just got to the NBA. You were a great college ball player. You know, when you go up to the next level, you got to earn your stripes. She hadn't been there long enough to earn enough stripes. Neither one of them. Yes, you came in scoring. Angel Reese doubles. But you got to look at all these ball players that they got in the WNBA that was there playing. One, I'm going to just take one. John Paul Jones. Why she wasn't on the Olympic team? Okay, as a big man that they could have used. There's a couple guards that they could have used. No, I'm not taking nothing from Caitlin's skills. I'm not taking nothing from Angel Reese's skills. I just feel you got to earn a stripe. See, you can't. See, ain't nobody getting meritorious promoted, and that's what that would have been. That's a meritorious promotion for a private. They are private. They brand new in the WNBA. They got to earn their stripes. No, we're not taking college split. We didn't do a WNBA. We didn't do it the NBA. So I think this next 4 in Los Angeles, this is her time to show in the next Olympic, not this Olympic that just passed. This Olympic that just passed was for the WNBA great all-stars. She just became one. So I feel that this may have helped her more than it would have hurt her.
All right. Oh, I like that one. Mark, let's go. What you thinking? You got a minute and a half. Let's go. You on the clock.
I'm agreeing with what the gentleman said as well, because I think that they have to earn that spot and everything, and they just got into the WNBA. They were great college players. There's no doubt about that. They were both amazing and all along those lines, but I'm looking for them to do their damage in 2028. They did try that experiment, not so much with the WNBA, but with the NBA of having a college athlete on the team. That didn't work all that well back in the day and everything. So I think that you have to bring the pros in there. And like the gentleman said, there were some other ones that could have been equally on the team that were not on the team as well. So definitely I'm with the roster they had was a strong roster. It's a roster that won that 60th game. And I don't think that they needed Angel and Caitlin at this particular time. And I'm not knocking either of those players, even though I'm more of an Angel Reese fan than a Caitlin Clark, just because I'm not a big fan of the Great White Hope and all along those lines. But I'm definitely they are.
I know Wesley. That made Wesley good. And my guy, Coach Robinson says, yes. The rules in the NBA allows that for the offense side, and Bruce said that he don't think that Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese was basically snubbed. If anyone was snubbed, it was Arike Owabi, from Dallas. Yeah. I give you that because she had them handles and everything else. Coach Justin, what you think about that?
Yeah, I think. As far as for, just trying to win the gold, completely fine. The roster they had was perfect. Now for marketing, for trying to put, these ladies in a position where they don't have to go overseas and they can actually make, the salaries that are, I guess, half as close to the NBA players. They missed the ball on that. At least get one of them. It would have been tough because, especially for Angel Reese, you got Angel Aja Wilson. She's at like 6'5". Alyssa Thomas, she's like 6'2", 6'3". Then you got Brittany Griner. So they already had their fair share of bigs. Would have been tough for Angel Reese to fit up in there. I think Caitlin Clark probably could have, if they really needed, just a little bit more firepower, she probably fit in because besides, what you got, Kelsey Plum, I think Chelsea Gray, and I don't know if Diana Taurasi. So they were still pretty stacked at the guard position too, So it's just they had enough star power. But as far as for a business decision, marketing, and trying to get even more attention, I'm really shocked by the statistic that you said that they had more viewers than the man. But could you imagine the viewership that they would have had with just one of them, and what that would have done, for the WNBA's bottom line? They missed the ball on that, So I think they could have got one of them.
I think that's an overflow, Justin, coming out of the college NCAA championship game. And I think, James and I have talked about that prior to. And I think that's a bleed over because right now, women's sports are on the rise. I don't care. It's kind of like what Wesley said. I don't care if you're playing checkers or chess. Women right now is hot. That's a hot item. And if you get behind that hot item, they want to drive that. And then you coming off of a NCAA, then you go into the WNBA, and you got Olympics the same year. So they riding that wave. James, what did you think about that?
Man, Tone, I had to go back to the pen and pad. I had to go back and take some notes. I had to take some notes, old school, baby. I had to be prepared for this question. So I had 5 different talking points. First thing is I looked at marketing versus experience, okay? I looked at the global brand and marketing, and I looked at experience. Okay, we can make an argument that Caitlin and Angel probably shouldn't be there based off experience. Okay, we can make that. But when you look at the global brand, the global dollar, and the global marketing value of Caitlin Clark, as well as adding Angel Reese, I think it would have been great for the game. I think giving them the introduction to the global stage. And then when we talk about Donna Taurasi, I look at her like a fading dinosaur. It's not like she's Michael Jordan or anybody or somebody else that everybody wants to come see. Anything, she could have been an assistant coach and still been part of the experience. Okay, a player's coach.
Yeah, because Sue Bird had already retired.
Yeah, so I look at the relevance. What is relevant right now? Right now, when you look at the trilogy, Dawn Staley winning a national championship with the girls, then WNBA on the rise, and then having these 2 superstars that are coming in that people are somewhat pitting against each other, it makes for a great story. It makes for a marketing media sensation. And then when you look at what could Caitlin Clark offer, I'm not so sure about Angel Reese because when I look at what Asia Wilson did, Angel and her, I'm going to go with Asia any day. But when you think about what Caitlin Clark could bring as far as her shooting to spread the floor, because the other guards weren't giving you any outside shots. They were not that good for the 3. So I think Caitlin Clark would have gave a lot more spacing on the floor. Then I go back to my last 2 talking points. So I know my time is running up. I go back to the marketing.
20 seconds.
Where's the money? Okay. We're talking about being able to promote and sell USA paraphernalia. Okay. In the WNBA. Those 2 right there, Angel and Caitlin, will sell WNBA Global USA brand products at every home game. Okay. No doubt. That's what a sensation is. And then when you look at managing personalities, coach might not have wanted those 2 there because how do I manage these 2 young rookies' personalities dealing with these rookies? And that might be a coach's decision.
Right. Wesley, you had a comment on that.
I'll leave there.
I got to say something because I hear everybody talking about the marketing of Caitlin Clark and all that. Okay, if you pay attention, because me and homeboy here, we already said, see, the Great White Hope already had got marketed. Now, this is my point. You gave Aja Wilson $5 million, but you give Caitlin Clark $25 million.
Well, now that was 2 years ago, though, cuz we talked about
free. Caitlin Clark don't have an NCAA championship. Aja Wilson got NCAA and WNBA. See, Caitlin, and I love Angel Reese, but I'm sorry, bruh. Let's let the ones that already been there, like my man Bruce Smith said, the girl from Dallas should have been there way before Caitlin Clark. And yeah, I'm with you. They took Donna Taurasi out and put that other girl in there. Let's let the time for Caitlin to get her. See, we're trying to push her out there and make her something. But see, the white folks already put her out there. We don't got to put her out there. The news put her out there. She's already marketed. They just couldn't give her a check until she got out of college. She already had her money. Our sisters don't get their money like that, bro.
But
I'm sorry. I can't give Caitlin that. She's got to earn it. Now, if you say today, Caitlin an excellent ball player.
Oh, yeah,
but not before the Olympics.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna make the last comment on this real quick. So one is that I was talking to Cuz about that, and Justin, I was telling you, I look at it I go back to James' marketing situation. Asia Wilson came out a couple years ago. They had no idea that Caitlin Clark was going to even be a pro 2 years ago. So her dad got involved. So if Asia didn't go cut a better deal with Nike, that's on the agent. They ain't got nothing to do, because at that time, Caitlin Clark's a freshman in college. You don't even know she's going to go to the WNBA. So that's how I look at that. Now, I need just no explanation. I just need you guys to tell me one word. So here are the stats. Going into the second half of the season, Caitlin Clark, here's the rookie MVPs coming down to these three. Caitlin Clark has right now just set a WNBA record with 225 assists, and she's got 450 points halfway through. Angel Reese just set another record. It's 20 double-doubles in 27 games. And then you got your girl, Rickea Jackson, out at the LA Sparks right now, who's shooting over 43% behind the line and snatching right behind Angel Reese and 9.7 points per game. I just need one word, one athlete. Who are you choosing for Rookie of the Year? Mark, give me that. Who's your one word?
Like I said, it's going to be interesting, but I think I'm going to go just because of the way she's been playing aggressively and everything. But I actually think that the Rookie of the Year is probably going to go to Caitlin just because of that marketing and everything. But I personally would like it to go to Angel Reese. But I think that the powers that be are going to give it to Caitlin.
All right, Justin, who you got?
I'm gonna have to give it to Caitlin. Really, just she got the better record right now. They sitting in third seed in the Eastern Conference, so they in possible playoff contention. With the fact that then she had a triple double the other day, didn't she? And broke an assist record.
Yep.
Yeah. So her and Angel, they both got the records, and it's gonna go to the person with the most wins.
Yep. Kind of like golf. James, what you think?
I'm going to play, Tone, we go way back. I'm going to play the political game. I'm going to go back to the days of Bird and Magic. And when you think about rivalries, we still got Bird and Magic when people talk about it. So you got Angel Reese representing Bird. You got you got Angel Reese representing Magic. You got Caitlin representing Bird. And so for me, I would love to see like a dual MVP, a co-MVP this year, unless they can separate
that'd be different. Ooh, yeah, that's kind of different. Oh, Cousin West, what you thinking?
By stats, you got to go with Caitlin Clark because she just moved her team up 2-3 spots, man.
Right.
By playing team ball. She's an excellent passer. She's an excellent team player. And that's what pushes her past Angel Reese. Yes, Angel Reese got all the doubles and doubles, but your supporting cast can put you up on a higher pedestal. So I got to go with Caitlin Clark on that.
And I'm going to be right with you, cousin. I think that I would love to. And I think, James, you had a great analogy, man. I didn't even think about that. The Bird and Magic analogy. You got somebody that the only difference is Caitlin Clark's like Bird. She was a shooter. Angel Reese is a little bit bigger than Magic, who can handle a rock. I think if Angel had kind of like Ubin Wally ball handling skills, it may be a different ball game. But I think because of the numbers and where it's going, I think Caitlin Clark gets that. Now, here's the question on the table, fellas. Justin, get this ready, baby. Who is the best all-time USA Olympic team of all time? And I'm going to start with, let's go Justin, the young guy to this one. We're gonna give you the floor first. Who is the best Olympic team of all time and why? You got a minute and a half. You on the clock. Let's go.
I mean, we discussed that. It's really a toss up because when we were going, like I said, our front court, we got David Robinson and goodness gracious, Patrick Ewing. Their front court versus Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis, it really can go either or. You know, it's no set. Now you move to the power forwards. Who you gonna pick, Karl Malone or Charles Barkley? Or do you want Bam Adebayo? Or do you want LeBron? LeBron can play your power forward. He might play your guard. You know, so it just makes it tough. I really think that it's very, very evenly matched. Both of those teams are better than the 08 Dream Team when they had Kobe D. Wade and Chris Bosh and them. It's really tough to say. I mean, your only outliers on both squads, you know, you got Christian Laettler, and I feel like Chris Mullin, you know, and then on this squad here, you might have I don't know. You may have Tyrese Halliburton or Derek White as far as for your outliers that could have been off. You know, so very evenly matched, man. Tough for me to say.
Time's up. Let's go, James. Who you thinking? Minute and a half. Let's go.
You got to go with the original Dream Team. There is no other. The Dream Team. And sometimes I can't even remember what year it was. They were so good. But I mean, when I look at
1992, baby.
Yeah, when I look at that roster with Jordan, and of course I'm a little centric because I'm North Carolina, but when I look at just it was no fall off. Even Bird was iconic, and he still put in. They talked. They said, Bird said, "Well, I'm not gonna be able to play defense that good today." So my man said, "Okay, I got you on defense." The other guys like, "I got you in scoring." They just had such a cohesiveness that they each knew each other's strengths. They communicated, and then they also said, "You know what? We're not gonna be jealous. We're gonna pass the torch." We anointed Jordan as our greatest player, so they already had the chemistry before they touched the floor. They already said, "Hey, Jordan, you the throne, but everybody else, we're going to play our role." It was so much harmony. That stuff you saw with Steve Kerr and all this BS stuff, you didn't have that. The Dream Team, you knew what you could do. And if you knew you weren't a good matchup with somebody else, you'd be like, "Yo, slide over. You cover him. I got you." Exactly. That's what made him so great.
That's good. Hey, let's go Wesley round the horn, baby. So we got Justin's got the 2024 team. James got 1992.
We don't even discuss. It's 92. And matter of fact, I'll take the second string on 92 to take Justin's starters that he just was talking about. I'm just telling you how good 92 was. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. See, they played basketball. They didn't have no attitude because you was over here and over there. Because I'm going to tell you something. You got Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan, Big Mouth Charles Barkley. Bruh.
Right.
And they played like they was a sixth grade team. Like they knew who to start. We just do our job. See, the teams you pick, bruh, all of them superstars, they had to, like you said, trying to raise up their stocks. James was getting his stocks up, Kerry getting his up. Bruh. 92 don't have nobody even getting close to them. Actually, these other guys ought to just be happy to know that they made a team, but they've never touched the 92 team.
There you go. Mark, finish up this on the backside while I make my comment.
92 all day long. I mean, you got folks like John Stockton, you got Scottie Pippen, you got Magic Johnson, you got Patrick Ewing, you even got Chris Mullin. So it's 92 all day long. And one of the things I was going to add, even when you're talking about definitely the players of today, like Seth Curry and everything, is there was those support units that were out there. And some of those support units were part of the 92 team. Scottie Pippen was definitely a support unit for definitely Michael Jordan and those Chicago Bulls and everything. So
are we talking about Pippen as a support guy? Come on, man. That's a support guy.
He was somewhat support, but everything. But he was also an amazing player in and of his own right and everything. But when I look at the problem with Seth and even his Olympics and everything is that we're already seeing the demise of the Golden State Warriors because they are losing some of the players that are backing him. So he can score 30 points all day long, but who's he going to have backing him up?
There you go. And I kind of told Coach Justin the same thing, kind of on almost the comment that cousin Wesley said, is that you could sit anybody on that 92 team down. It didn't matter because matchup for matchup, they're going to foul you. They're going to hit you hard. They're going to do everything they have to do. But here is what USA basketball had the other day. Me and Coach Justin was talking about it. The reason why the 92 team got that, they averaged 117 points per game, where the 2024 team averaged 91. The 1992, out of all the Olympic teams, they won by an average margin of 33 points a game. The only team that was close to them was the 2018 with LeBron, D-Wade, and Kobe. They won by an average of 29 and a half. And the United States gold team crushed the competition, wasn't even a second thought. So, hands down, 1992. Now, here's the last question of the night. We're going to get up out of here. And I just need one word, and you got 30 seconds to answer this. Who is the greatest of all time to wear an NBA uniform off the top? Mark, let's start from North Kakalaka. Go from there. Give me one word and why.
I'm gonna give it all day long to my man from North Carolina who brought it to us and everything, Michael Jordan, all day long.
Let's go, James. Who you thinking about?
Well, they back in North Carolina, they call me. I was called Big Game James, but I'm Little Game James after Worthy. But Worthy said it best. Worthy said, without a doubt, after the second practice, him and Perkins knew who was the greatest. They said they witnessed it at Chapel Hill. They knew after the second practice, they were like, "We know who the greatest is." And without a doubt, the GOAT. Dean Smith had to bench him sometimes because he was doing stuff before the league was ready. I never forget the game when him and Lynn Bias squared up together. Lynn Bias, baby. Games you could ever watch.
Yes,
man, talent versus talent. But you
Carolina State.
Man, who knows what Bias would have been like? But Jordan is the GOAT.
All right, Wesley, give it to me. Last one.
Michael Jordan. There is nothing what are we talking about? That's the end of the story. Michael Jordan. That other guy, the only thing close to Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant. That guy that's playing right now, he's a great ball player. But no, Kobe ain't playing. That other guy that everybody likes, that getting ready to retire next year after 20-something years.
Right.
LeBron. But Michael Jordan is top of the line. We don't even need to discuss that.
There you go. And Justin, I'm gonna give you the last word on that, baby boy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say this. I'm a Kobe fan first, die hard to the death of me. Kobe fan first. But it wasn't until like 2013, and now each and every year it's just even more obvious that it's LeBron. And it's not even close. And the reason I say that, I look at, I'm gonna say, he came out of retirement. He wasn't even doing what he's supposed to do. I didn't see Jordan got hung about 3-4 times when he was with the Wizards. I'm over here looking at LeBron cocking that jump all the way back. I'm talking to the back and just cramming it. Now, I'm just looking at any franchise that he goes to, the impact that he would have, it would just be more of an impact and for a longer period of time as he's proven it, So this is non-biased. I picked Kobe before anybody, but it's just kind of obvious to me. And you're gonna go off with the stats, the championships, but it's just kind of clear to me.
All right, last one, James.
Not a LeBron fan, by the way.
I just gotta say this. I want to give respect to LeBron, the most durable, the most in shape athlete I've ever seen in my lifetime. And so when I talk about overall the greatest athlete as far as like physical specimen, I'm going to give it to LeBron. But when I talk about the IQ of learning how to win, having the swag, having the confidence, and your opponent is fearful every moment that you got the ball in the fourth quarter. Jordan mesmerized guys. They knew, it's like you knew what was coming fourth quarter. Chicago played that little music. You already knew. Jordan would sit down for 5 minutes. He would sit down for 5 minutes in third quarter, and you knew it was over in the fourth. You could be up by 20. It's over.
Hey, and Mark, you got last comment on this?
Yeah, I was going to actually give the young brother credit on LeBron on one thing, because like I said, as far as the play and as far as developing that skill, I think it was Jordan all day long. I think it's Jordan in terms of that history and everything. But I will give you credit on LeBron on one thing. When it comes to being a community organizer and a community person in terms of business and everything, LeBron is taking that mantle and taking it much further.
Oh, the philanthropy. Yeah.
Given like the kind of scholarship that LeBron has been given to his
I
neighborhood.
love LeBron for philanthropy. LeBron philanthropy is none other. And Bruce out there says MJ all day. And Coach Justin, Coach Robertson told me to tell you, come on, man, it's MJ 100, 100, 100. And I'm going to take the last comment. We're going to get out of here. I got an opportunity to be there with Mike and these guys. Got an opportunity to experience, play summer league with these at IIT. Got an opportunity to see Jordan in the summer league. First time I seen Mike come down the court and do a 360 dunk in the lane and dunk on somebody, I knew Chicago was going to definitely be turning for the best. And the reason why is kind of what James alluded to. LeBron, okay, he didn't like what happened in Cleveland, so he had to break out and go to Miami and then get a couple rings, then try to come back to Cleveland. See, Mike was playing through that era where they went in the locker room and they smoked a Marlboro or some Newports, right, Wesley? They sit on the bench when Quentin Daly smoking cigarettes and come out. You get a ticket upstairs and come down at halftime. You sit right next to the Bulls, to the point that the Detroit Pistons wrote a book on how to stop Michael Jordan, kind of like what James said. They wrote the rules on Jordan. LeBron ain't had nobody writing no rules. And because of the change in the NBA with no hand checking, Mike would have about 100 a night right now. And on that note, go MJ. But listen, I want to thank Val. Sorry, Val. Come on in here, Val. I didn't see you on here. Come on in here, girl.
I know. I figured I would just peek my head in,
slide in the room
for the ladies.
There you go. Woo, woo, woo.
And I have extreme bias, as I got a chance to see all of the players in '93 when they won the first world championship in Chicago. And I was there looking at Giants walk past me at the Grant Park band shell. It would be Michael Jordan for myself as well.
There you go, Val. And Justin got, you know the women is never wrong. Justin got to take their word for you. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, Justin. We're gonna make this last. I love the things you said about Kobe, because Kobe himself said it. I was the little brother. It was Batman and Robin, and I knew every day I was Robin. That's the difference on that. Hey, first of all, Wesley, my cousin, Southern Illinois, man, I appreciate we've been trying to get you on here for a minute. Thank you for your time tonight. Mark Lee, appreciate you coming down from North Kakalaka. My man, James J. Dub. We go way back like a Cadillac, man. So I appreciate you taking time, and you just getting off the road. And of course, Justin, we knew we was going to get a youngster a hard time, just like you playing ball back in the day, But I appreciate you hanging in there. It's been absolutely great. Tomorrow night, make sure you guys come in. And this right here, The Rise, NIL, this is my own sports marketing. For those that want to learn a little bit about the NIL, that's name, image, and likeness, you want to be able to work with some companies and brands in terms of opportunity and ambassadorship, please reach out to me at The Rise NIL at www.theриsenil.com. Also, tomorrow night brings us up on Interludes Talk on Tuesday with myself and my girl who just jumped off, Val the Voice, tomorrow night. Make sure you tune in at 8:00 p.m. on Interludes Podcast. So we sit up and we're going to talk a little bit about All American tomorrow night, which is the show that came on big time with Netflix. And we're going to talk about none other than Deion Cole's movie he's got out right now on Netflix, The Average Joe. So tomorrow night, make sure you tune in for all of that. And make sure you make some comments on that. And then for those that like to get their read on, make sure you subscribe and give Val the Voice's new book, A DJ Saved My Life. And the QR code is right there. Please copy that and order you an electronic copy or one. And make sure you understand how Val the Voice decided to go into the business of podcasting, and a DJ saved her life, literally speaking. For those, I appreciate you tonight. This is your boy, Coach Tony. This is the Pull Up Podcast Show. We appreciate you, but you know my words. Everybody, put them deuces up. Peace.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know it's the Pull Up Podcast. So I said bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know it's the Pull Up Podcast. So